Hello, everybody. John Riddle here, and I want to tell you right now, you don't have to fear the Reaper. The Reaper digital audio workstation, that is. Hey, this is one of the most versatile DAWs out there today, and it's used by a countless number of audio producers all over the United States and the world. You can use Reaper for such things as audio recording. You can use it for little snippets of audio like sound bites if you want to. And you can also use it for MIDI composition and much more. And we're going to show you how to use it right now. Reaper is available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. It can be tested for free for 60 days before purchasing a license to continue using it. So, let's open Reaper. The main Reaper interface appears, showing the timeline at the top, also called Arrangement Window, and the mixer at the bottom. Before starting, let's set some project options by going to Options, then Preferences, and then Device. At the top, under Audio System, choose the audio driver to use. Waveout is the default, but you can select ACO to reduce latency, especially for inputs you're going to connect. If you keep the default driver, you set the input source, such as external hardware like a keyboard or a microphone. Under Output Device, choose the speakers for the project playback. You can also set the audio format bit depth, the number of input and output channels, and the sample rate. Apply with OK. On the right, set the project tempo, which we'll see in a moment, and the time signature, such as the number of beats per bar. First, let's import some audio files to see how Reaper works. You can simply select the files you want and drag them into the timeline. Reaper may ask you whether to keep the actual project tempo or take the one from the audio files you have imported. Reaper supports multiple audio formats, such as MP3 and uncompressed WAV. You can also import videos. Only its audio will appear unless you go to View and then Video to also display its video frames. All imported files appear as blocks called items, showing the file name, audio waveform in time, and placed within rows called tracks. You can expand the track's height by holding Control or Command key while using your mouse wheel. Scroll it alone to zoom in and out around the green cursor, and hold Alt or the Option key while scrolling to move through time. The timeline is where you edit all your imported files. It is measured in bars and beats at the top and in seconds at the bottom. To play back, click on the timeline to set the starting point, shown as a green marker. Then press the spacebar key to play and stop. When you do this, you always return to the previous starting point. If you use the Enter key instead, you pause and resume, updating the marker position. You can also play back in loop specific points of the project. Click and drag on the timeline to create a loop region. If you enable Toggle Repeat from the bottom left corner, the loop region will play continuously. In the bottom right corner, you can adjust the project tempo. By default, 120 BPM or beats per minute. This controls how bars and beats are converted to seconds, affecting the project's playback speed. For example, setting it to 92 BPM will slow playback and vice versa. If you need a temporary playback change, use the playback rate knob on the right. This also alters the pitch of the project. Now let's see how to record in Reaper. From Options, Preferences, and Device, make sure your microphone is selected as the input device. Then, return to the project and create a new track by right-clicking on the track area to the left and choosing Insert New Track. Arm the track for recording. The microphone should now be ready, as shown by the volume meter. If this does not work, check that it's selected as the input on the track. You can also enable or disable microphone monitoring, which lets you hear the microphone output live. Turn it off if it's distracting. As a general rule, keep the microphone away from speakers to avoid unwanted effects like resonance or capturing the same project playback. Place the playhead where you want to start recording, then click Record to begin. Click again to stop. If you don't see the player and the record button, press Ctrl with Alt and T or Command with Option and T to show it again. Now let's see how to edit items. Click on any item to select it, then drag to move it in time within the same track or to another track. Items will snap to the timeline grid defined by the snap options. You can adjust this by going to Options, Snap Grid, and Snap Grid Settings, and set values like 1/4, 1/8, and so on. You can ignore snapping temporarily by holding Shift while moving. Drag an item's edges to trim it, cutting part of its content. Dragging from the right edge will make it loop, indicated by a small gray arrow each time it repeats. You can also hold Alt or Option key while dragging to shorten or stretch the item and change its speed rate without affecting its pitch. If you need to also edit its pitch, double-click the clip and disable Preserve Pitch when changing rate. Adjust the volume uniformly by clicking and dragging the volume knob up or down. Just beware of possible distortion coming from excessive volume gain. Drag from an item's corners inward to add fade transitions, which smooth the audio volume at the start or end of an item. You can also place two clips close together and overlap them to create a crossfade between them. To quickly copy an item, select it, hold Ctrl or the Command key, and drag it. Remove a selected item by cutting it with Ctrl or Command and X. Undo actions with Ctrl or Command and Z. You can also open the history window from the top menu with brackets to see and revert your changes. Split a selected item by placing the green cursor where needed and pressing S. Select multiple clips by holding the Ctrl or Command key and clicking on each of them to move or edit them together at the same time. Now let's see how to handle the track options listed on the left and also on the mixer at the bottom. These options apply to all items inside the same track. Use the mute button to mute the track and the solo button to mute all the other tracks. Check the decibel meters to see the volume level in time. Use the vertical bar to control the track's volume and make sure it doesn't reach red levels that indicate distortion. Adjust panning using the knob at the top. You can also manage options in the master track, which controls the output of the entire project. To remove a track, just right-click on it on the left and choose Remove Tracks. This will also remove all the items contained within that track. Now let's see how to add effects. Effects are added to the whole track, not to single items, by using the FX button you see here. The effects list includes several plugins, including VST and JS effects, built by using the EEL2 language, which is a script you can also edit by yourself. To learn more about this, check the link in the video description. From the list, you can apply pitch, EQ, delays, modulation, and much more. For example, let's add a pitch effect and an amplitude modulator. Hold Ctrl or Command key to select multiple effects, then click Add. Click the effect name to open its interface and edit its settings live. You usually get wet and dry controls. Increase wet to hear only the effect, and dry to hear more from the original audio. Enable or disable an effect using the checkbox on the left. You can reorder effects by dragging them in the list. And remove any selected effect using the Remove button. To disable all effects on the track, click the I/O symbol next to the FX icon. With the Trim button on the left, you can apply automations, which are variations in time of specific item or effect properties. After clicking on Trim, choose the properties you want to automate. In this example, let's take volume or the pitch parameter from the effect added and close the panel. The automation envelopes now appear as separate lanes just below the track they affect. You can drag the envelope line up or down to change values uniformly, for example, the volume. Hold Control or Command key and brush on the envelope to draw custom shapes freely in time. Hold Alt or the Option key to remove any points you've added. To disable an automation, go to Bypass on the left. You can also hide its envelope by going to Hide Clear and then to Hide Envelope. Beware that the automation remains active even if it's hidden. Now let's see how to work with MIDI. MIDI items are note-based compositions with no instrument attached, so they produce no sound unless you assign one. You can assign an instrument by connecting external hardware to Reaper or using a virtual synthesizer. To connect external MIDI hardware, go to Options, Preferences, and then to MIDI Inputs. In this tutorial, we'll focus on using virtual synthesizers instead. On the left, right-click to create a new track. Click the FX icon, then go to Instruments to assign one. You can use ReaSynth for drums or ReaSynth for melodies. Let's select ReaSynth and click Add. To create a blank MIDI item, hold Control or Command key and drag across the track. Click to select it, then press the E key to open the piano roll within it, or double-click it to open it in full view and start composing. Click the notes on the left side to hear the sound. If you're not happy with it, go back to the FX icon and adjust the synthesizer settings. On the piano roll, use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out in time, or hold Control or Command key to zoom vertically. Click and drag along the timeline above to loop playback. This helps you start composing more quickly. Click and drag to place notes within the correct length. Click on any note and drag it to move it. Drag its edges to adjust the length. Use Control or Command on Mac and X to cut and remove any selected note. Use Control or Command and Z to undo changes. In the bottom left corner, adjust Note Properties. Here you can change the velocity for each note by pulling up or down each point. You can also draw an envelope over time by holding Control or Command for pitch adjustments, and use Alt or Option key to remove a single point or the entire envelope. A MIDI track can also host rendered audio items. In this case, the synthesizer will affect only the MIDI items present. To save your project, go to the top left corner, open File, and choose Save Project As. Reaper projects are saved as RPP files and store all you've done. If you want to render and export your work as an audio file instead, go to File and then Render. At the top, under Source, choose what to export. Most of the time, you'll select Master Mix which outputs the full audio from your project coming through the master channel. Under Bounds, choose the portion to export in time. By default, it's the entire project, meaning from the first item to the last in time. If you set Bounds to Time Selection, it will export only the part under the loop region on the timeline. At the bottom, set the destination folder, file name, sample rate, and the stereo channels. At the bottom, choose the file format. WAV is an uncompressed format that preserves full audio quality and is compatible with most software and hardware. Select FLAC for a smaller file size with the same audio quality, though compatibility issues may occur in some cases. MP3 is a compressed format that removes inaudible data, producing smaller files that are still good for streaming and distribution. If your project includes video, select one of the video formats instead. In that case, make sure to set the video resolution and frame rate. Hey, thank you very much for watching today's tutorial on Reaper, and be sure to visit our YouTube channel or our website, where you'll find a lot of tutorials on different types of DAWs that you can use in your audio production. We'll see you next time.